Here we are at the Danish Pavilion during the Biennale architecture, and we have the curator of the pavilion, Natalie Mossin, and we would like to know which is your idea of the free space here at the Biennale.
Well, the theme of this year's Danish contribution is collaborative innovations. The reason why we need to innovate at all is that current practices are unsustainable. We have some big challenges with nature, with culture, social. That's why we have to work in different ways and do things differently. In this pavilion, I have chosen 4 very different examples of how it can be done. And each of them also show that when we want to implement change as architects, we have to work closely with a lot of other people. With citizens, with government, with civic institutions, with knowledge institutions, and with everybody in the building industry. Because for me, innovation is not just a good idea, it's the implementation, it's the effect, it's the real change. So what we have here, we have one project, and that is Hyperloop 1 by BIC. It's radical change. It's a whole new way of moving, it's a new way of mobility, where you, in the Hyperloop, move as fast as with an airplane, with the convenience of a car.
And these are the pitches of it.
Yeah.
And
it's being tested in the deserts of Nevada, and that's where here you see some of the actual test machines brought here from the Nevada's desert. And over there at the bottom you see a film showing how one little window every 10 meters in this tube that you will be shot through will, when the tube is up to speed, provide a panorama vision of the landscape, a whole new landscape, because the speed is so high. It's over 1,000 kilometers per hour.
And you just wanted to show that collaboration with not only architects, studios, but countries, municipalities, states,
and
nations.
And in the case of Hyperloop, to do this, there's a lot of engineering, there's a lot of architecture, but there's also, to do something like this, there's also, in this case, a lot of capital, because it's very expensive to try to do mobility in a whole new way. But this is different from every case. Here we have the radical innovation of the Hyperloop. The next case is incremental. It's the many little steps when we try to rethink and innovate on what is already there. Albertslund Syd is a Danish social housing complex from after the Second World War. It is run down, it is unhealthy. The architects Vandkunsten here, they have worked for many years with social housing to improve quality of life. When you work with social housing that is already there, you cannot, like the Hyperloop, it's radically new. Here you have to reinvent the existing. It's many small steps, but it's just as important. And it really affects the life of ordinary people. So they are reinventing, they are finding anew the beauty of the old windows. All the materials here are from the actual Albertslund Syd. So they are when they take elements, materials out of Albertslund, they try to, rather than just make it trash, to say, can we find a beauty here? Can we reinvent these materials? Can we lift this neighborhood, but do it in a way where we use that which is there and make qualities out of it, rather than making it into trash, into garbage. So this is an example of a way of recycling, but also a way of slowly and through many small steps push for incremental innovation and to improve the life quality.
And which is the other project, the last one?
And then the last one here.
Because there are a lot of improvements in the way you should invent and create architecture.
Yes. And here, this is a building, Svinkløv, that burned down in Denmark. It was very important for Danish identity, and the architects here, Praxis architects, they have been tasked with building it again. So what they do, it's entirely new and it's entirely the same. The reason why I want to include this case in the story of architecture, we have of innovation, we have the radical innovation, we have the incremental, but here we have innovation where there's a focus on the person and the memory and the identity, because we cannot, when we do things in new ways, if we do not bring people along, it will not matter. So here we have an example where Praxis architects, they do not take everything and recreate it. They take what is important for the memory and for the people and for the place in the Danish West Coast, and what they make, what they do has all all the qualities of what we said before, but it is a new building. And I think that is also a very strong poetic potential of architecture, that we can make something that is new but bring people along with us.
Thank you.